Welcome to the OTechTalks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Welcome to OTech Podcast. Today we have with us a new guest, a founder and CEO of Definer.org, Jason Wu, and I would like to invite him on our session to share his experience being a new startup, started very recently, what they learned, what they have successfully achieved it. So let's welcome Jason Wu. Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Manzoor. Nice to meet you, and thank you for inviting me to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, before we will go into more questions, so why not? What do you know, or what brings you to be an entrepreneur? Can you introduce yourself, your business? What leads you? What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. This is Jason. As Manzoor introduced, we are Definer. So let's start from the name, Definer. It represents two things. One is decentralized finance innovator. Second is to define the future of open finance. And this is my passion. And that's the whole reason why I choose to start the company. Because like many years ago, when I graduated from the school, like any other millennials, and I thought I got the freedom, get the first paycheck, so excited. But soon I realized there's a problem. The problem is all of our savings in the bank account is earned zero interest, right? And this is definitely not correct. But what options, what choice we have? So that's the solely reason is, and I'm not happy. I think it's not only my problem. It's not only my generation's problem. Now, it's a problem for billions of people. Right. Then I dig through that. I found out, the current financial system, we have the central bank and control the interest to a low level. However, the small, medium-sized business, they don't benefit from this because they still pay a high cost of capital to borrow money. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like now, they cannot even borrow money. And then we realized there's a big centralized, financial intermediaries, and they are kind of a high cost, slow, and they make trillions of money away globally, and leaving consumers like us earn zero interest. And then 3 years ago, when I get in touch, know more about blockchain technology, which is immutable data network. And also, I was studying my CFA and have much better understanding how current financial system operate. Then I realized there's an opportunity to change this, to solve this problem. And that's how I started and how the board of Definer, in Decentralized Finance Innovator. We want to give the control back to the people. We want to make the money really work for the people. And we want to lower the transaction cost, automate the transaction process, and to form an ecosystem or community to let the people who own savings earn more return. Also, make those small, medium-sized business who need capital and also get lower interest rate. So that's my journey of Definer and myself. So we started February 2018 in Minneapolis, US. And the mission is to disrupt the financial transactions world, which is figure out a way to automate the lending, borrowing financial transactions and bring down the cost of capital.
All right, wonderful. So, as a personally, is it your first like a startup program or startup, or have you done earlier an experiment, or it's just coming from university and then you started it?
This is my first startup, like run by myself.
Right.
I've definitely been together with other startups before, But this is the first one I run by myself and all these ideas. But I didn't start this since after I graduated from college. And because after I graduated from college, I went to a Fortune 500 companies, and then I learned, in
Right.
there I learn how to run a business and learn how to bring the product from concept to the prototype, then commercialize it. And then it's like 3 years ago when I have finally found a dream or a mission I fight for all of my life in the future, that I just start to working on my own ventures.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So in 3 years, if we ask, what's the one thing you wish that you know before starting this?
I wish I have the experience or knowledge, know how to form and run a startup and make it success. So I think I learned a lot during my, the experience with Definer. First, there are several things, but the most important thing is to be a young startup entrepreneur. The skill side, we just don't have that, and in the school, also in the corporate. And because usually we used to be part of the process, in school people teach you are part of the process. You coordinate with each other. The same when you go to big corporations, even the government, and any position is actually you be part of the process. You interact and cooperate with each other. But when you start to run a startup, and you need to take control of doing all the things together. You basically you are setting up the process. So if I wish, I have one thing before I start this is how to put the different process together and run it successfully.
Right. Okay. But that's good. Now, I want to run through a journey. If I'm a consumer or I am a customer or I'm a citizen, so what I need to do and use your platform, and then how you are linked with the regulator, either banks or another central banks. So if you give me a customer journey, some overview from a very layman point of view, that as a general citizen, a customer, how I can use your service.
Yeah. So we make it simple and can access through different all the different devices. So as a normal consumers, people you can easily either download it, through the iOS, the Definer, or you go to our website definer.org.
Okay.
Then the first thing you need to register. Basically, we just only ask your email, in case of any communication need. And once you have the onboarding email, and the second, you need to set up a wallet. And wallet is more like, it's also very simple, like your app and all the extension. So once you have all this ready and you are ready to go. So basically, on our platform, either you already have digital dollar or digital token, and you can open our savings account. Just hit check all the different interest rate. It's reaching typically around like 5%, and then you can choose the one you have and deposit it. Then that's it. You can start to earn interest. And for the borrowers, the same. They come here to scan all the different product and the interest rate. They will come and borrow money. So for the if you don't have the digital dollar, and you probably need to buy it through the platform. Either you can buy it through many different platforms, like in US you can buy from Coinbase. I think in MENA region, we have with Oasis and like OTC desk, and there are many ways you can buy, and it's very easy. So then you kind of own US dollar stable coins. And once also through our platform, we plug in with Wire. Also, you can buy through Apple Pay. You can buy through your debit card. So that's a stable coin, which is equivalent to your US dollar. And once you have that, it's very easy to use. Just as I mentioned, for savings, just you need to deposit. For the loans product, that's more for business, for bigger dollar amount of loans. And for that product, you can customize, how much money you want to deposit or lend out, what collateral you are looking for, how long you want to lend. And it's fully customizable. So you can customize it and then put it on the market. Another counterparty will take it. So,
okay. And how the regulator is playing a role? Banks or any central bank, or is there any their role is?
We are a technology platform. As the whole process, you can see the difference is we don't hold people's money at all. We are not a custodian. So we are a technology platform. We want to build, the network similar to internet. Anyone can come use it very easily. But in this case, people just can use it to do the financial transactions. So I call it the financial internet or FinTech. And there's not too much interaction with central bank because it's fully compliant. And based on the FINRA from the US, and they don't worry about the non-custodian financial services because it's just like a technology product and non-custodian service. So we make it very easy, and you interact with the counterparty directly through the internet we build. So in this case, is the FinTech, which can be trusted and to do financial transactions through the blockchain.
All right. Now, how's your journey from last 3 years in terms of progress, in terms of expectation? When you started it up, is it going as per the expectation, or some ups and downs, or how you describe it?
Yeah. So the past 3 years, and it's really up and down. And but the good thing is that we feel we are very lucky. First, we are on the red path, red industry, because when I started, there's no industry called DeFi or decentralized. But right now, this industry start to form, and this concept become more and more popular, right? That's one thing we feel we are very lucky, and also we have the vision, the direction is right from the day one, and then this industry grows very rapidly. The loans transaction through the decentralized finance industry grows 10 times from last year.
Wow, 10 times.
10 times. You can check the data. It grows 10 times from last year, and it will keep growing. And this is very good. So that's the upside. And from the downside is when you start, you don't know how to broadcast it or communicate this. You have idea, you have startup, how you let everybody knows, right?
Right.
And when I start to, in the US, you need to pitch to the VCs, pitch to the angels, and it's so innovative technology, and it's take you to it's so hard to explain it very simple and understand it. And when we start, this is not part of the blockchain, is not part of under the financial technology sector, but for the typical VCs, and FinTech is a big sector for them, but not blockchain. But the good thing is, start from last year, like 2019, they start to put blockchain application in financial industry as a FinTech technology. Then that's really give us an opportunity. We've been through last year we win the Detroit FinTech Challenge, and also we get invited to the San Francisco TechCrunch Disrupt. And from there, we met like tech stars and they put us, into the FinTech. Also, you admitted, we get admitted to TechStars. So that's all very good sign. But the downside is we face, some failures from beginning about the direction exactly of this product itself, and we spend a lot of time to build one product, but it's not very feasible. Then we rebuild that.
Oh,
So that's
wow. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that takes a lot of time because it's so new and you don't know what the user really need at the beginning. So it's a learning process, but I do believe that waste us a lot of time to build the product, but eventually you need to rebuild that. So
Very good. Okay. Now, coming back to, as this is a very focused tech session, now on the blockchain, so in which technology or platform which you used it from a blockchain point of view? Is it Hyperledger? Is it Ethereum? Is it what?
Mhm.
Or is it?
Yeah. So our platform, since day one, we designed to make it easy to use through the different blockchains. And what we start from the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
Because Ethereum blockchain is the most decentralized blockchain with smart contract functionality, with sophisticated smart contract functionality, which means they can, they can support a little bit complex process, which is lending, borrowing, all this loan logic. Also, they are very distributed, which means no one can manipulate or alter the transactions. So, but that's our start point. And when we design it, we make it compatible to different blockchains. So it's either, in the future, either the permission blockchain or permissionless blockchain, we can work together. So right now we are in the Ethereum blockchain. And the functionality we use the most is the smart contract.
All right.
The smart contract is a concept, been there many years, like decades. I think it's around the late 19th, the concept came out. But they didn't implement it and until blockchain become available. So basically, you can, put our agreement like between you and me or between different business party, and the code that business logic to the code, and then this code kind of deployed in the blockchain. It only execute based on what you coded. That's very important because financial transaction, financial system is built on top of trust, right? In our current financial world, the trust built on all this legal framework, humans, agreement, and also the branding. However, it take a lot of cost, right?
Right.
That's all humans, legal, attorneys, accountant, auditors, very expensive. But then in this way, with the smart contract technology and blockchain, we can build trust on top of mathematics, right? Which is code.
Right.
And this will take a lot cost away. And eventually all the costs will be returned back to the people. So that's the particular technology we use from blockchain's perspective to solve this problem.
Right. Now, when you started, did you learn yourself or did you hire someone? Who developed platform for you? Who developed all this application and Ethereum? Or from where you took help?
Yeah, I came from non-technical background. My background is more finance, business, product management. So then I find my co-founder who is a senior people in technology, coding and software. And when we start, just two people, I design the product. I, design the architect and the business logic. And then, my co-founder, he's working on coding. So that's how we get started. Then I wrote the white paper and to describe what's the vision, what product we want to build, and what's the features should it have, what's problem it solve, and what's the business logic and the process. And once I have this done, then that's turns to him to code it to build a very like a minimum viable product to play it around and then prove it's feasible to come true. Then once we prove it's feasible, and we will make it much more various, make it no bugs, it can handle transactions, thousands of transactions, and then we market out to the public. So that's kind of how the process looks like.
And this MVP was how quick you were able to build MVP? It took 3 months, 6 months, or just for a rough timeline?
We spent around half a year to build this MVP because it's very new technologies, take to understand it and learn how to use it. And because in the blockchain for the decentralized finance, we call it the Web 3.0. So that's kind of the interaction. Right now, the most app are the Web 2.0, but the one we are working on, everyone call it Web 3.0, and take some time to learn at the beginning. And so it takes us around half year to build this up.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's wonderful. Now, and what's your business model from where you earn money? Did you charge per transaction or a percentage or how?
So our business model is we do interest profit sharing.
Okay.
Because the platform itself will generate interest, which is paid by the borrowers, right? The concept is the lender provides the capital to the borrowers. Borrowers use that capital to make more money, which they can finance their own project, or they can do anything help the society. Then they get higher return. Then eventually the borrower will pay back interest to the platform, and the defender will share the profit, which is around 10 to 15%, and then we return the majority, like 80 to 90%, to the lenders. So in this way, we don't charge anyone, right? Like anyone gains, right? Mm-hmm. The borrowers, they make money because there is project success and they return the profit. And lenders also make money because they provide the capital. And the platform itself also makes some profit by do this profit sharing. So no one actually pay the fees, but all gain. That's the whole concept. We need to form a community, help each other, and grow together.
All right. Okay. Now, if some fresh graduate who wanted to start and enter into the world of entrepreneurship or a startup world, he wanted to start his own journey of building or starting on a business, what advice or suggestion or guidance you would want to pass to him?
Yes. So my suggestion will be, you need to accumulate knowledge, experience, and the resources. And that's the most important thing. To run a business, you need experience, but experience not that's the most important thing. What I think the most important thing is, the resource. And because business is always about the resource. If you, in the VC world, the general big CEO, you have two things: find the resource, which is keep the money in the bank, and the second is find the right people to hire the right people. So if you are a fresh young graduate, probably you don't have both, right? You don't know. Your network probably very limited, right? Because you just graduate from college. All people is probably your friends through the college, and they don't have much experience or skill set yet. So that's kind of limitation. But then if you want to start after graduate, you need to figure out how can you find the right talent, right? And the second is the resource, like financial resources, money. All these things are also important because you need to pay the bills, and you need to figure out how to find that. So I will say it's very difficult if you want to start your business right away after graduate. So that's why you see in the US and like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, that's a very rare case. And but they graduate from that school and they backed by the VCs and they get the resource since day one, right? So that's very rare. But most startups or entrepreneurs in US, and they are people who working in industry for many years, and they already know a lot of people in their field. They become the expert in their field. They know people from their field. Also, they have innovative mindset, and that's the time they start to create their own ventures or their own startups, because at that time they already have a lot networks, right? They know a lot of people in their industry, so they can use that resource to hire people to and put the business together. The second, they have a successful track, and when you go out and pitch people, because you pitch them and to buy your vision, and they will dig you through your history of success. And then if you are expert you in this industry and you already gain some good experience, they will easier to trust you on that. So that my suggestion is it's not bad to start a corporate work after you graduate. You can learn a lot of things. You can typically the university or college is as a kind of isolated or like different from the real world. So once you graduate, why not just spend several years in the corporate or find a job to learn how the world really operate, how business make money, and how they organize the people under their organizations. I think that's good experience. Also, at the same time, you will gain more knowledge, you will gain more network, you will gain more resources. Then and don't forget you have a dream to create your own ventures, but that's maybe the right time to start. That's my suggestions.
And I agree with you, Jason. I mean, the teaching or the education which we are getting in our universities, that is not in reality to the world which we in the corporate world. So
yeah,
in agreement with you that the college graduate need to spend some time, learn, and then they can get into this venture. Thank you. Now, on the personal level, as a Jason, what are the one or any book which it greatly influenced your life?
Yeah. So for the books, like 3 years ago when I started, I don't have too much experience running a startup. So I start to learn by reading.
Right.
And the one book, which is happened to write by the tech stars, that's very helpful. Right, that's called Do Things Faster.
Oh, okay.
That book really benefit me because, and it teach me how can we validate our ideas and concept. Because as a startup, you may have many ideas, many concepts, but you don't know which is the one really matter for other people. So this book teaches you how can you quickly validate your concept, your ideas, and find the right one, and then execute on this. So the method is called a hypothesis test. Because in project management, there's a waterfall, and agile, which is typical now, right? But for a startup, you don't even have the resource to do agile.
Right.
So this one, they call it hypothesis test. I will give you example. It just when you have idea, first thing you need to do is talking to people. Finding them on LinkedIn, find them through your network. Just talk to the people you think they will become your customer.
Wonderful.
And collect their thought. And then you will get a lot of feedback. Then it will help you a lot, and to make sure you are on the right path. Also, that's either big idea or small idea, but they teach you how to do things quicker and faster, actually. Which is avoid of wasting a lot of time on the unnecessary things. Because in startup, the most valuable thing is your resource, right? Resource in a startup typically is the time of the founders.
Right.
You need to learn how to don't waste your time. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any favorite failure of yours during these 3 years, or which later set up you for success? That okay, you started, then you get into some hurdles, and then but it eventually proved that later it become for a successful road.
Yeah, I do. So when we start to build this product, we make it truly peer-to-peer product, which means, and you have money and another party who need money, and you put these two parties together. Then that's a transaction. But then we start to build this product. But then soon we realize it's so hard to bring the two parties together at the same time. It's a chicken and egg problem. You need either you have the lender first, then you to find the borrower, or you find the borrower first, then you find the lender. But it's so hard to put them together at the same time in a very short window. And that's the license we learn. And that's important license, because current market, the liquidity is very low. It's so hard to bring the two parties together at the same time. Then we quickly learn from it. We find our business is, money is our supply, which is the commodity, and we do value added service on that, and then supply it to the borrowers. So for us, it's quickly we realize we need to accumulate the money first, which is the supply, and then you start to find the borrowers, which is not a so hard job.
Right.
Yeah, license we learn.
That's a wonderful, I think, suggestion that you gave a real example that what happens when you start and then you learn from your experiments. Well, that's excellent, I think. Okay, and coming to again some of the personal your thoughts on when you start a new business. What are some bad recommendations you hear from some of your friends, some of colleagues, or usually they just pass some comments or suggestions. So what are those type of recommendations which you keep hearing? You need to avoid them.
I think that's a good questions. So when you start, people, they like to give you the advice, suggestions. Yeah, but one thing you need to understand is if you are going to success, which means you have to say something different from others. Right. Otherwise, how can you be success? Because then everyone will notice you have no chance to success. But the opinions also a lot of time matters. So you need to learn how to listen to the advice.
Right.
You need to listen. Yeah, first thing you need to listen. They give you advice. You need to understand where's their point from. And then you need to think about this. Think about does this really matter about the things you are building? What's the impact of this to the things you want to achieve? And once you understand and get all this information, and after analysis of thinking, you think it's not that important, then you can move on. And but do not try to just shut down all the opinions, advice. A lot of them actually good advice. So you need to learn how to listen, but at the same time you need to have a critical thinking skills and to process this information. and then you will be in a better position.
You need to learn to filter out rather than taking everything. Right.
Yeah.
Now, being an entrepreneur from last 3 years, how you have helped yourself or how you have improved for saying no to like distractions or maybe something which is impacting your timelines or you have some deadline to meet, and then you got some distractions, invitations, maybe speak to somewhere. How you manage as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think that's another good question. So there's a life, right? Life is about hanging out with friends, families, and have the thing. Also, you have to meet your deadlines. I think the most important thing is how to learn prioritize things and to do the time management. And because I believe the efficiency of work is different during a different time period of a day. Like when in the morning you get up and get your breakfast, then after 1 or 2 hours, you will get a full speed. So and try to put the most effective time and to put on the most important for you. If I assume for the entrepreneur is their business, and then people cannot working like that for the whole day. You need the relax, hang out with people, and it's always about time management. If you can speed up things and do it very effectively from start, then when you need to time to recover, gain back energy, talk. That's maybe a good time for you to hang out with friends, get the invitation. And what one thing I want to emphasize is take back control of your time, and you cannot be led by others.
I agree. Yeah, you cannot be led by others. That's the key.
Yeah, that's super important. Take control of your time. It doesn't mean you cannot hang out with friends because you do all these startup crazy things, and it doesn't mean you need to spend 24 hours on these things. But one thing most important is you need to take control. You need to know it's the time to work, and then you need to know what's the best time for you to relax, and that's the experience that I have.
Good. So we have with us founder and CEO Jason Wu, and we are just going, end of our session, and I will just ask the last one question. That's I think for some of the new startups, and I wanted to ask this question: that what is your top recommendation when a new startup or they're trying to pitch to a youth, VCs? What are your suggestions to them? What they should do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the VCs, when you start, you probably cannot reach out to the VCs because in the startup there's even in the startup or early stage venture like early stage startup, they have different stages.
Right.
You just start just a concept and ideas, or have you really do and execute, spend time on this, and or have you have a team? Even you don't have money, but money is not the most important thing for people to work. And can you approve? You can attract people working around you. So then it comes to the VCs. Usually for the VCs, they are people who professionally doing venture investments, so they know how to assess the business. But for the VC stage, they need to see you have a business, which is the revenue, which is like monthly return. And if you don't have that, just don't bother too much time, start to pitch out to the VCs. Right? If you don't have that, it really doesn't make any sense for them to invest you. Unless you are the brilliant kid like Mark Zuckerberg, graduate from Harvard, Stanford, very smart, they probably can fund you for your concept ideas. But if you are not one of them, and just spend time, right? Figure out the resource you can have and talk to some angels who really, maybe your friends, the uncles or whoever you can reach out, but very close to you, and prove them you can build the product, serve the market very well, have onboarding customers and people like your product. And then once you start to have this improve, build the prototype, build the MVP, and make it fully servable to the market, have customer, then that's the time you start to talk to VCs.
Thank you so much, Jason. Well, I really enjoyed the discussion. I really enjoyed. Very wonderful, and I think very wonderful, advices, suggestions, guidance to a lot of people. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Jason Wu, the founder and CEO of Definer Inc. And I think I really appreciate your time to the audience of OTechTalks.tv, and look forward to invite you maybe in a couple of months to see your progress in a year down the line where you're heading on your platform. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a great pleasure to be here and to talk and share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you. And for our audience, you want to reach out to, you want to do anything on the financial side, it's a decentralized finance innovator solution, by the way. Definer is a platform that enables lend, borrow, and earn digital assets. I like the platform, and it's using the technology, blockchain technology, use of emerging technologies, being a college graduate, and then spend some life on professionally spending some time, and then enabling starting up very new innovative idea on the FinTech industry. Thank you, Jason. Have a wonderful life.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the OTechTalks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at OTechTalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.